So I was watching TV the other day. I know, who watches TV anymore, right? But anyways, a commercial came on, and as bad as commercials are, this one was a little bit funny. But not ha-ha funny, but like a dark comedy where you think, how the hell does anyone actually fall for this funny? Here's a clip from the commercial.
God's will for us has always been to be in health and to prosper. And He's using the miracle spring water
screen and call now. I'll send you your miracle spring water absolutely free without any obligation. You're next in line for a miracle.
God wants good things for you, and He's all powerful. So instead of giving you the things you need, or even giving you some kind of trial to test you and push you to achieve greatness, instead, He makes some magic water that you'll need to get from this asshole. This is Peter Fuckoff. Oh shit, sorry, I mean Peter Popoff. Sorry about that. If you've been a hardcore skeptic for some time, you may recognize him. That's because he was debunked by James Randi back in the 80s. Popoff used to claim that he was communicating with God and could heal people. He would gather large crowds and go around the room knowing people's names, seemingly before he was told them, and would know when they were ill. But it wasn't God talking to him. He used an earpiece that his wife used to communicate to him with a radio. Shortly after being exposed, Popoff went bankrupt, but that wasn't the end for him. Popoff decided to return to TV in the 90s.
The basis of picking up this spurious frequency, he tuned in on it, recorded it, and of course it was Popoff's wife. Hello, Petey, this is your wife speaking. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in deep trouble. The first woman is the, yes, I'll use the expression, the big black nigger in the back. This was their disrespect these people had for their victims, from whom they were taking money. And you keep your hands off those tits, Peter. I'm watching you. We've got that on tape. Believe it or not. This is the disrespect.
And where exactly did Popoff decide to return to television? Mostly BET. That's right, Popoff and his wife had no problem using racial slurs when talking about their audience, but when it comes to giving them money, they don't care about your race. They might not see you as equals and human beings, but if you give them money, they won't discriminate. As you already know from the commercial, Popoff is at it again. I guess this magic water bullshit has been going on for some time, but this is the first I've heard of it. So the first thing I did was head over to his website. From there, you can give him money, or you can request a prayer. You can also see his television schedule, but it's currently empty. Looks like he is making all his money off this water these days. But then again, maybe not, since you can't order it online. So I had to call. So I called, and it was a voice recording of Popoff telling me not to hang up, and then instructing me to give me my info so he could send me the miracle spring water. But I didn't want him to have my info, so I decided not to provide real information. But I didn't want to leave it at that, so I did a little bit of Google searching and found people who had actually ordered some of the water. And as you might have guessed, it's very underwhelming. The fact is, you don't even get the little pouch of water he shows in the commercial. Instead, it just comes in a little Ziploc plastic bag. The trick to the magic water is that you're supposed to dump it over your head, so it's kind of like a nerfed version of the Ice Bucket Challenge, but instead of creating awareness for a terrible disease, you just line the pockets of some asshole. No, but seriously, that's not how it works. The way it's supposed to work is that you sprinkle a little bit of water on a check, and then you fill out that check to Peter Popoff, and then you mail it back to Peter Popoff with the prepaid envelope he provides. Which, I mean, is nice of him. I mean, if you're going to send him a check for doing absolutely nothing, the least he could do is provide postage. And yeah, that's basically it. After that, you're just supposed to wait, and according to Popoff, God will provide and reap what you sow or whatever. So really, what he is saying is that if you give him money, then God will be happy and give you money in return. If you watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, this may sound familiar to you, as it was the basic premise for his skit about Our Lady of Perpetual Exemption. But with the John Oliver thing, it mostly just ended up with him getting a lot of packets of semen from people who wanted to send in their seed, you know, to sow the seed and reap the benefit. But now that I think about it, technically that could be done with Peter Popoff. I mean, he does provide a prepaid envelope. But no, seriously, don't do something stupid like that just because I mentioned it. I mean, if someone were to do something like that, I wouldn't be able to stop them. But I would never endorse or encourage such behavior. Never. But anyways, this whole thing just makes me think of the movie Space Jam, where Bugs Bunny tries to boost the morale of the other Looney Tunes by giving them a bottle of Michael's secret stuff. But the whole time, the audience knows that it's just a bottle of tap water. This is the same thing in many ways. The water might give you more confidence that'll help you succeed from the placebo effect, but it's just water. The only other way in which the water provides miracles is that sometimes really good things happen to people. So if enough people who are down on their luck try it, at least some percentage of them will have good things happen shortly after. But it won't be the water doing anything. It'll just be that stuff happens and people sometimes see patterns where no patterns actually exist. I mean, if this stuff did work, then why would God give it to this asshole? Why not put it somewhere that people can actually benefit from it? Like, even if it was just regular water, God could have given it to plenty of people who could have found better use for it than sprinkling it on checks. Or like, why wouldn't God make all holy water be miracle water? Or at least make truly good and worthy priests be able to bless water into miracle water? But no, God thought, I can do anything, so I'm gonna make magic water and give it to a guy who will give it out to people with instructions that require them to pay him money before it'll work. And not just any guy, but a guy who has been caught lying about hearing the voice of God and getting rich lying to people about it. But look, if you want to believe in magic water or miracles or healing power or whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to stop you. I don't want to stop anyone from believing whatever they want. But please, don't send this guy any of your money. And as tempting as it is, I'm not even going to make a joke about giving it to me instead. If you really want to waste money on water, buy a regular bottle of water for like $1 or $2, and then give the rest to someone who actually needs it. Like people in need, or give it to a charity or research foundation. But not this guy. He's rich enough, considering he doesn't even do anything. And before anyone says, but Popoff's ministry is a non-profit. Well, actually, it's a religious organization, which means that it's tax exempt regardless of whether or not it made a profit. Since as long as it follows a few rules, it doesn't have to disclose anything to the IRS. And on top of that, Popoff's ministry has a did not disclose rating with the Better Business Bureau, which doesn't mean much, but it doesn't give us any reason to think donating to his ministry is going to be a good cause. Unless you think paying for Popoff to drive around in fancy new sports cars is a good cause. And now a word from our sponsors. Using the miracle of God, we were able to buy all this technology that let us discover the origins of Jesus. Groundbreaking research has shown that the Immaculate Conception was no accident, but the work of miracle spring water. This miracle spring water is 100% totally not semen and comes from a river bathed in by the Virgin Mary herself. Upon taking a dip in the water, Mary was given the miracle of life, and now you can too, with Popoff brand douches. Just follow the easy instructions on the box. Step 1. Rip off the top of the box and remove the douche. Step 2. Rip off the cap of the nozzle. Step 3. Never stop ripping off everything you can. And then all you have to do is wait about 9 months, and you'll have your own little miracle baby Jesus. Popoff brand douches. Fuck off, jack off, rip off, pop off. Order today.